Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aisha. If you're new here, you're welcome. And I've been away for a very long time. I think the last time I uploaded a video was in January or February, which was like a lifetime ago. But I'm back now and I'm so excited to be back. And the last video I uploaded was 10 reasons why I think you and every other person should read. So in today's video, I'll be talking about 10 tips. I'll be sharing 10 tips to help you get started as a new reader and also to help you commit if you are a reader struggling to commit. But before we get into the video, I just want to put this out for you guys. I'm sitting in front of the camera and I'm as nervous as a whore in church. I am so nervous. I don't like sitting in front of an inanimate object and just, talk. I don't like it. But then I love to talk about books. So because I'm nervous, you guys will have to bear with me. You just go into, there's going to be a lot of ums and ahs and all the other filler words you can think of. There's going to be a lot of those, and probably there's going to be a lot of looking away from the camera, looking sideways or looking at the ceiling while I try to recall the things that I want to say. But I think as with everything, I will get better with time. So that's just that. So without further ado, let's get into the video. And again, you'll have to permit me to glance at my notes every now and then because, well, I haven't memorized the items I have on my list. So let's get into it. Tip number 1 is start small. As a new reader, you don't want to start with something that's going to overwhelm you. I'll tell you that no one has ever gifted me or awarded me a prize for reading a book in a day or for reading a book in 2 days. Nobody has gifted me anything just because I was able to read 50 pages a day or I was able to finish a book in 1 day. So just start small, go at your pace. When you're starting out as a reader, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. When reading becomes overwhelming for you, you get discouraged. So starting small could mean starting out by reading maybe just a page, 1 page in a day, or 2 pages if you can, or a chapter in a day, just something that doesn't overwhelm you. You know what small is to you. You know what small is to you. I know people, I have friends that can't even keep up with reading 1 page a day. I have friends like that. So even 1 page is too much for them, 1 page is too much for them. They can't keep up with that. So maybe for people like that, reading half a page is small for them. That would be them starting small, reading half a page, or maybe a paragraph. Yes, a paragraph. Just do something that works for you. Don't do something that's going to overwhelm you. Start out small. Don't compare yourself with anyone. There are people that inhale books. There are people that swallow books. I don't inhale books. I don't swallow books. I'm a slow reader. So I don't compare myself with people that inhale books. I don't do that. I like to bite and chew and savor my books. Okay, I chew slowly. I take my time with my books. So I don't compare myself with people that just kind of just swallow it or just gobble it up. I don't compare myself with such people. So what I'm saying is don't compare yourself with people like me. I might be able to read a book in 1 day, but if you're starting out as a reader, that would be too much for you. You don't want to do that. You don't want to discourage yourself. What you are trying to do is you're trying to get used to reading. You're trying to learn to love reading, trying to become an avid reader. And doing something that's overwhelming will just discourage you. Tip number 2 is start with genres you love. I think one of the reasons why people think reading is boring is because they try to force themselves to read what they don't enjoy. It's like me forcing myself to read classics just because there are people that think classics are really cool and I want to look cool, I want to be cool, or I want to feel cool. So I force myself to read classics, not because I enjoy them. I think don't ever force yourself to read what you don't like. If you don't like genres of nonfiction, I don't see any reason why you should read nonfiction. And if you don't enjoy fiction, I see no reason why you should force yourself to read fiction. So only read genres that you enjoy. Read genres that you love. Don't let anyone force you into reading or talk you into reading what you don't like. When you do that, reading is going to feel like a chore, and nobody likes chores. Maybe I know I don't like chores, so reading will feel like a chore if you force yourself to read what you don't enjoy. And if you're not sure what you love, you can try genre hopping. Genre hopping is when you read different genres at different times until you somehow find a genre that resonates with you, a genre that you love, a genre that speaks to you. So that is genre hopping. It's like reading let's say you read romance this month, and then the following month you read maybe historical fiction, and then the next month you read maybe a memoir or a business memoir or a business book or whatever. You just get it. Just skip jumping from one genre to the other until you find one that you love, one that resonates with you. Whatever you do, do not force yourself to read what you don't enjoy. Tip number 3 is use the 50-page rule. Now, what's the 50-page rule? The 50-page rule is, when you read the first 50 pages of a book to know if this is a book you want to read or not. Okay, maybe you're not sure you want to read this book, but you want to give it a chance. The 50-page rule is just reading the first 50 pages. And if after reading the first 50 pages, the book is not giving, the book is just not giving, you're having a hard time wrapping your head around the plot, the characters, and every other thing that makes a book. If you're having a hard time reading the book, going through, if reading the book is just like going through the motions with you after the 50th page, I suggest you just drop it. You don't have to force yourself. I've tried it with a book, one of Nora Roberts' book. It's romance, and I'm not a huge fan of romance, and so I just tried to I was just giving the book a chance, and after the 50th page, I found that it simply wasn't something I want to read, so I dropped it. No one is going to question you for not finishing the book. No one is going to question you for reading just 50 pages of the book and then dropping it. No one. Rule number 4, be regular or consistent. Okay, learning to become an avid reader is you trying to create a new habit, and our actions don't become habits until and unless we do them repeatedly, we do them consistently. That is when our actions become habits. So imagine you pick up a book, and after reading maybe the first 16 pages, you drop the book and then you don't go back to it till like maybe after a month or 3 weeks. That is not reading regularly. You're not reading regularly. You're not ready to make reading a habit. You want to make reading a habit. You want to learn to become a reader. I suggest you read every day. And again, I'm going back to the first tip I mentioned, which is starting small. So you can start small, but you should be consistent with whatever small it means to you. So if you tell yourself, oh, I'll read half a page every day. I'll read half a page every day. For reading to become a habit, you have to be consistent with that. You have to have the self-discipline to go back to that book every day. The point is, be regular, be consistent. You don't want to read a book now and then drop it till after 10 months before you go back to that book. That is not being consistent. That is not being regular. And not being consistent, And not being consistent is not going to help you become a reader. It's not going to help you um it's not going to help you make reading a habit. So be regular or be consistent. Get regular consistency. Tip number 5, set a particular time to read. You can allocate time in your schedule for reading. You know, when you draw up your schedule for a day, you can just say, oh, I'll read for 10 minutes in the morning, or I'll read for 10 minutes before I go to sleep. That is setting time to read. And when you do that and you keep up with that, gradually it's going to register as a habit. So set a particular time to read. That way, you're not just doing things haphazardly. You have a routine. Reading is part of your schedule. You're not just you're trying to make reading a part of your daily routine. So yes, set a particular time to read. 10 minutes is not too much and it's not too little. You can read for 10 minutes in the morning, 10, 15, 20 minutes in the morning, or 10, 15, 20 minutes in the afternoon at lunch break, when you go for lunch break, or 10, 15, 20 minutes before you go to sleep. Just set a particular time to read and try to stick to that time. Not that, oh, I'm going to read. But if that is too rigid for you, if you feel that is too rigid, then I think you can be flexible. Yes, I think you can be flexible with your time as long as you read every day. Tip number 6, set reading goals. So I used to have this unconventional book club. I say it's unconventional because your regular book club is where you guys pick a book for the month, you read, and then you come together and discuss the book at the end of the month or at the end of whenever you guys agree. But in my book club, what I did was I get people who are trying to form reading habits, people who are struggling to commit to reading, and then I ask them to come up with goals. What are their goals for reading? And then I ask them to set those goals around three things. I recommend setting daily goals. So a person may decide to read a chapter a day, or half a page a day, or a page a day, or if they're not setting their goals around the number of pages, they're setting their goals by duration, around time. So a person may decide to read for 10 minutes daily, for 15 minutes daily, or 20 minutes daily. Or they may decide to say, oh, I'd love to read 6 chapters in a week, or 5 chapters in a week. The point is, setting a goal for yourself helps you have a clear idea of what you want to achieve, and setting goals around your schedule makes reading easier for you, because then you don't feel like you're not doing enough and you don't overwhelm yourself by doing too much. So set your goals and try to work towards achieving them, and also try to stick to those goals. Tip number 7, join a community of readers. I think sometimes the only thing you need to motivate you to do something is by putting yourself in a situation or in an environment where you're surrounded by people that have the same interest as you. So if I know it's true for me. I know it I know it's true for me because I'm a seasonal writer. I say I'm a seasonal writer because I don't always write. I write when I feel like. I write when I feel like, or when I'm around people with same interests as me. So yes, whenever I'm in my hometown, whenever I'm in Maiduguri, I know I tend to write more because I'm surrounded by writers. I'm surrounded by them and I see everyone doing something, everyone writing poetry, writing this, writing that. So I am motivated to write, as opposed to when I'm here. So being around people that share same interest as you sometimes is the only motivation you need. So being part of a community of readers should help you, or will help you to build a reading habit. And reading communities could be a physical book club, it could be um been a part of a book talk community or a bookstagram community or a booktube community, and I know we have a lot of those these days, and it can be overwhelming to try to pick what to try to and I know it could be overwhelming to try to pick one you want to belong to. I suggest to just look for two or three or maybe one or two that discusses topics you love or that discusses genres you love. My channel is mostly nonfiction. I talk about, or I will be talking about all kinds of books, but it's mostly going to be nonfiction. So um if you're a lover of nonfiction, this is for you. What I'm trying to say is just look for one or two that resonates with you, one or two that explores the genres you love, and then just stick to those. Yes, or you can just look around your community and try to join a physical book club if there's any around. Tip number 8. Okay, borrow reading time from something less important. We all know that you're not as busy as you make it seem to be. You're not as busy as you claim to be. We know that. So you spend hours and hours scrolling through your Instagram feeds or Twitter or Facebook and whatever. You could borrow some of the time you spend on social media and allocate that time to reading. We know by now, and if you don't, you should check my previous video. We know the importance of reading. Reading is really, really beneficial to us. So you know by now you should know that reading for 10 minutes is better than scrolling through your Instagram feed for hours. So yes, borrow time from something less important and allocate it to reading. Tip number 9, always have a book on hand. One of the things in the habit loop, according to Charles Duhigg in his book The Power of Habit, is the cue. A cue is anything that triggers a habit. Now it only makes sense that a book is a trigger for reading. If you're trying to make reading a habit, having a book on hand is going to make things easier for you, because when you see a book or anything you can read, that sends a message to your brain, it's time to read. I should pick this up and read. So having a book on hand, maybe on your bedside table or carrying a book in your tote bag, is going to remind you to read. And if you don't like hard copies, there are a lot of digital apps now that can help you with your reading. Not only will they serve as reminders, but it can also help you track your reading, so you can read and track your progress at the same time. Tip number 10, which is the last on my list, romanticize reading. Romanticizing reading is just doing anything that makes reading fun for you. If you want to be a luxury reader, you want to burn candles, or you want to snuggle up in thick soft blankets before you read, just go ahead and do that. Just do whatever makes reading fun for you. I know what makes reading fun for me. I love to read with a cup of tea. I love to read with a cup of tea, or just that. Just that is fine for me. But if you want to go over and beyond and be a luxury reader, burn scented candles, put on fairy lights and whatever, no one is going to judge you. Just do what makes reading fun for you. You're trying to enjoy it. Reading is really, really fun. You can make it more enjoyable by doing things you love. If you want to dress up before you read, go ahead and do it. No one is going to judge you. Just do what works for you. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Just romanticize reading. So there you go. 10 tips for new readers. That brings us to the end of our video. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. Thank you for watching. If you've learned a thing or two, just click the like button, and if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe and click on the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for staying with me. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.